Hi guys, Rf Ralph here again. Right, I'm going to continue with the Atari 2600. I've actually been tinkering away from off camera and stuff. So what I've actually done is got the cases, got them cleaned up, and they're really clean anyway now. Absolutely lovely clean. I've my fingerprint on there now. But I've also removed these switches. Now I'm not sure. Excuse me. I don't like the design of these switches over here. These are standard on-off switch on the Junior, which that goes that way around, switch on, off, on, off, on, off. But there's a membrane under these. Now I felt that these were absolutely diabolical to get any contact with. But it's a piece of foam, a really hard piece of foam. Whether or not this is actually original or not, I don't know. But this apparently gives you the press. I think these are I think they want replacing. That'll press down enough to get that there. It just didn't seem very tactile enough. For me, shall we say. Because I've never had one of these. I've always had the ones with the switches on. So I've cleaned everything up. All the switches are nicely cleaned. And there's only 5 screws holding it all together anyway, so there's not too much to do with. The boards are a nice clean anyway. But I'm thinking, I've got 2 problems with this. One, I need to redo the caps. There's only, I think, 6 on here. So it's not a massive job. It does work, but I'm thinking of recapping anyway. That one is quite a big one. I don't think I've actually got one of those. 2200, 16 volts. Doesn't matter about the voltage, that's the maximum it goes to, I suppose. But the little ones I have, so I could possibly replace them. I haven't got a edge-to-edge one. I've only got the ones that are 2 pins at the bottom. So I've got to replace, but I need to wait until payday to get out and get some kits, some capacitors and stuff anyway. So at the minute, we're plodding along nicely with this one. But my second problem with this is this edge connector. If you saw in the last video, put the cartridge in, but moved it to one side, it would work. So I'm guessing the pins are either too flat, and maybe that wants replacing, or what I've actually done is took a very small screwdriver and gone in and bent them towards. Now they're not touching the contact beyond it, because I'll assume that they are all separate. Coming off down here, coming up and round. So what I want to do is I want to try and test this as is now, because all those are bent, hopefully in a better position. So let me get the transformer, let me get the telly plugged in, and let's see if I can get this working or not, if it's better with a cartridge on board. Okay, I've got everything wired up, plugged in and whatever else. I'm getting limited success with this. At the minute I've got smurfing and it's just gone off again. Any touch on that, it makes it go. So it's definitely going to be a new connector, I think, because there's nothing inside here. A little bit of dust, but nothing major out. Well, everything seems okay on the back, but this would definitely in need of a recapping. I think it's just gut feeling on me thinks recap. The millipede in, it's a pink screen, well a peachy screen, black screen. Yeah, millipede won't work at all. It probably will do. It's like it wants to be warm before it does anything. It's quite weird, this. And even got anything on there at all now. See, also the switch on here seems a little bit iffy. Gone black. It's recognised something. Don't you hear the hissing? It's the television off. Black. On. Yeah. I'm going to leave that as is for the time being. I can redo the case. I've got problems with the case anyway. I can't really do much with the scratches on here. It looks like this bar might have come off in the past and somebody's put glue on it. Or maybe it's like a laminated sort of aluminium. And it's one of the laminates, it's kind of come off. It's not really worth doing anything with. It's been scratched down there. It's not too bad unless you're really looking for it. I don't think it justifies buying a new one of these. I could probably get one from somewhere, but I don't know. But I can put switches back in place. Like I said, I'm not so keen at all. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to investigate whether or not these want to be thicker sponges. Get a new, possibly a new switch. Any picture at all now. Black and white switch doesn't really do anything either. Oh, millipede just came up. There we are. Black and white just goes off. That switch don't do anything. Oh, not that again. So definitely the connector there wants doing. Possible there's something inside, but I can't see. Possibly something's really amiss on the circuit board, so I'm going to unsolder that, get a new connector, and we'll get back to this project as soon as we can. Okay, we've been busy on the Atari, as you can see there. Right, what I've done is I've taken off the cartridge slot holder, because inside the slot we're actually, the problem with the contacts, if I look hard enough, there were a lot of rust in there. So what I've got, it's got it soaking in vinegar at the moment, and it's going to be hopefully dislodging that pretty soon. Now, I don't have a cap kit. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 caps on this, which I already took off, this one. I'm just get them. I'm not going to buy them. Done. There's a cap kit that's out there, which goes, takes all these 5, and then there's another one on for this model anyway, because this is the revision, yeah, whatever, revision D board. It does 5, but also does C53, C54, and I don't know where they are. Resistor 53 is there, that third one along. 1, 2, 3. But C53, I don't think this has got it, you know, so I'm not really bothered about it. So that's going to save me a tenner. I just need to get some 2200 capacitor, one of, and some, I've already wrote down somewhere. Yeah, I think the 4.7, Christ is here. Yeah, 4.77 UF capacitors on C37, C27, C29, but these are the ones with the legs on the bottom. C20 is the same capacitor, but with legs either side, but I can adapt one of these so I can just have it laid on its side and the cable going across and in, so it doesn't go in one side and out the other. So it's not essential that way around. It's just the 22,000, 2200 UF capacitor I have a problem with. So I'm going to order a few 4.7. I do use them, sure I do. So, but also what I've done, if you look on the board here, you can't see it. I had a problem with the on-off switch. So basically unsoldered both of these two, the black and white colour, just in case there's a fault, and change them around. The power on off switch is that one, which was the black and white, and back over if there is a problem. So I'll re-solder back in the cartridge slot adapter when the vinegar's took all its, well, done what it needs to do. And then we'll see what happens with this, if it works or not. But I do need to get some capacity, so I might as well take these three off, and that one. That is going to be the problem, but I will order one that way around anyway. So that's not really an issue just yet. And we'll sort that out when we get round to it. So the minute, I'm going to take off these three. There's definitely something wrong with this, but there isn't. So let's get on with this. Put the light on. There's light around here. Maybe that one there. Heat up, heat up. Need like a... Is it that one? Ah, hold on a minute. That one and the one above it. Or is it? It's not. Where I'm feeling it's there. Oh no, it's not. It's side by side. Oh. Always know what you're doing before you start. Come on. I could have easily have sucked out. I should have actually sucked out the solder because it'll make it easier later on. So I'm going to get on with doing that. Putting the solder sucker on. A deadly solder sucker. It hasn't killed me yet, so that's not too bad. And take these caps off and get on with it that way. Alright, decapping done. I'm going to keep hold of these because just in case, because the whole thing did work, it's just in case I can't find the nail or something wrong, I'm going to keep hold of all of these. I'm sure I could, I'm sure there's going to be not a problem anyway. So let's keep, and we're done with. Right, that is still soaking the connector for that. That will just slot back in. If I can find a new one, then brilliant, but there's a possibility I will have to. So decapping done. Like I said, there's only 5. A big one here, and all 4 of these are exactly the same. So that one's a straight across one. Everything's marked on the board anyway, so it's not bad. Plus to the right, plus to the right again. Yeah, you know, you get the idea. It's marked up alright, so I'm going to keep them with the parts in here. I'm still not convinced with that, you know. Still really not convinced with the foam on the bottom here if it's not gone too hard. Just to do something else. I'm guessing it's exactly the same. I guess it's perfectly fine. But I've never had a Junior. I avoided having the Junior because I didn't want one. So let's get on eBay. Let's order some stuff for this. Let's get it brought in, and I'll work on, while I'm waiting for the stuff to come from eBay, I'm going to work on the cartridge slot holder, and that should be fine. I want to do a mod on this for the composite because I just can't stand shooting things in anymore. So we're going to get that sorted out in the future. I've actually desoldered the ribbon cable there, ribbon cable holder, and that's absolutely solid. I don't know what I did right on there, but that's absolutely brilliantly solid. So we'll hold fire on this. For me, I've got solder all over me, my new cutting board. That's fine, it's rubbing off anyway at least. Let's hold fire on this one for the time being, so I can get some parts into the garage. So for me, it's going to be a quick cut, and a week. For you, it's going to be a quick jump to the next scene. I decided to try and repair this. What I've noticed on here, if you look quite carefully, you might be able to see, is inside here there's a lot of, I can't see a thing. There's some rust at the bottom of the contacts. I'm guessing that's what's giving it bad. Yeah. It's not connecting properly to the cartridge, so it's just obviously the rust is doing something. So what I'm doing is soak this in vinegar for quite a while. Put some oil on top of it, try and get a little bit more protection, because it's just basically just raw metal underneath there. So I'm going to solder it back onto the board. I'm assuming there's no up or down on these anyway, look exactly the same one way or the other. So let's get this back in and see if it will work. It's kind of tricky because you've got your sections there. It would be easier probably to take this plastic part off and then clip it onto the connector and then push it all on in one go, but this plastic is really hard. There we go, better. So it's better, and then just lock it in place in the holes and push it in. I mean, it has to be tight on. Oh, blimey. There we go. Right, I'm going to solder this in and see if it works. So I'll do a kind of a zoom in a little and fast forward, and you can watch me soldering. I'm quite happy with that. Went over them again just in case, but none of them are connected. I thought I got a couple that had bled over onto the other one, so having a short, but it hasn't. So happy enough with that. Right, let's see if it works. Plug her in, see if she works. Right, she's plugged in. Power's on, but not switched on the socket. I'm going to test with a millipede the cartridge. That didn't work last time. So there's only in one way, so straight in. That felt crunchy. Right, so let's get power on and switch on. So we have power, the light's on. Let's tune the telly in. TV. No, it isn't showing that it's working, but it shouldn't anyway, because I've removed off the capacitors, haven't I? But I just feel like it's... Actually doesn't feel like it's connecting at all in there now. Oh no. There we go. I'm not quite sure if I've done good or done bad there, you know. Seems to fit in rather well. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't have switched it on. At least the switch works. Let's get that out. So like I said, we're waiting for capacitors, so I really shouldn't have done that. That might have been a massive mistake doing that. But I did see something on the screen, so wait until I get the caps here. I'm going to get them ordered. And let's see how far we are along with this. Okay, a few days have passed. Obviously I can't get parts like that. So what I've done is got deliveries in. Just solving packs of 2s. Big massive capacitor. which goes over on the left hand side here of the board. These weren't, there's no cap kits out there for the Atari, so you just basically buy normal caps. That's me gubbins and stuff. I've had a delivery from The Future Was 8-bit. I like The Future Was 8-bit. I wish they'd send me free stuff. I love them. But this is the mod kit, just to get rid of the to make a composite out and a audio out as well. This is what they do. There is a luxury version, shall we say, but what you need to do is, this is the diagram for that board, is that's where your wires go. Yeah, sorry about that, a little bit of cut there for no reason. Got the invoice. You don't need to know my address unless you're going to send something in. Please donate by sending something in. But then that's the case, I'll give you my address. Some more caps there for the rest of it, because they're all exactly the same caps that are going on, so they will do rather nicely. I do hope they were the right ones. So we're going to do a mod for a composite out instead of that, so that needs fully removing. I think there's a couple of soldering parts on here, or resistors and stuff need removing. I've actually got this from a Skybox. Now, it's obviously a stereo composite out, but the beauty of it is I've got 3 all in a row. So what I can do with the case, where the composite comes out, is hopefully fit it in like that. If not, then could work on something. Is that the front or the back? Yeah. Yeah, because that's the joystick part there. So I've got to squeeze all these in there, or I can just get a double one and put one there, one there. Actually, that triple might fit. Actually, if I bore out, put it in an oval shape instead of putting the circles in, might be a better idea. Would be easier if it was little, well, if that was a bit, actually it needs to be that big, doesn't it? Because you've got your cable to go round these. So yeah, I can mount that inside, either way, onto the board, and we'll see what we can do. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff needs to come off. That'll fit there rather well, actually. So that gives all 3, the video, your audio left and right. But all I'll do with this, because there is audio in, audio out, it's only a mono, there is no stereo Ataris. What I'll do with these two, the red and the white, the center pins, I'll put a wire between it. In fact, the section there, if you can see there, I'm going to screwdriver to point for you, but where this center section comes down and where that center section comes out, these 2 white parts here can just get a blob of solder across it. So that will give you audio coming out of both of these. It'll be exactly the same audio. It'll be a left and left, come out of left and right. But that's not an issue for me. That's fine. That's what a lot of people do. Or they'll get audio and video out the back of the Atari, and then they will put a splitter on the end of here so it sounds better on the TV. But if I can get away with all 3, my trusty wires down here will just plug straight in. That's a nice little mod. So thanks to Future Was 8-bit for sending it. I actually sent it pretty quickly. I'm impressed on how quickly they sent that one with a standard delivery. So this is going to take a while to do, so please bear with me. I know I've got other projects at the time being, but let's get this one done. Still not happy about the buttons though. Actually, look at that. Ah, it's alright. I thought the board was warped, as it probably is. Yeah, let me get on with this and come to me later when I have followed all the instructions from the Future Was 8-bit, and let's get on with this, Ralph. Right, recapping done. That's the first part. Right, it's pretty easy to recap a 2600 Junior anyway. All you've got is basically this big one over here on the left, a smaller one here, one over here, one over here, which are all, these three small ones are standard 2 pins at the bottom sort of ones. And these are not linear ones, they're the ones, but obviously it's got wire either side. You can use similar to the smaller ones like that, like I've done here. Just split the legs so they go one way and then the other way. Just make sure you've got the right one in the right hole, and that'll work absolutely fine. So you haven't got to bother getting one capacitor with the legs coming from either side of it. So you can get some standard cheaper capacitors without doing anything to it. So next job is installing this little bugger. So what we need to do is remove that. I think we need to remove a few resistors and stuff on the board as well, which the instructions for Future Was 8-bit do go through. I'm guessing the colour coding does show you black, red, white, yellow. So you've got a black, probably what's connecting to there, red, white, yellow. It seems as simple as. Then the output is where you're going to connect this bad boy to. So you've got simple enough instructions to do. I mean, obviously, like I said, this is mine from a Skybox, which it'll either work really well, or I'll just cut it off. So you've just got two connectors. I might have even got a 2-connector version anyway, but it's not the end of the world if I don't have 3, because I can easily split the audio out afterwards. But it would look quite good having 3 on the back of it. But according to the Future with 8-bit instructions, I need to remove the Rf Modulator. I need to remove LA Q4 R56 R48 R48 Q4 is there, and the fourth one is L8. Okay, that coil goes. Okay. So we're following instructions. I've got a video from Future Was 8-bit. I actually think it's Dog Blue Monkey. Let's put a video on February. I'm following that because it seems to be a good video. So we'll get this with a composite mod pretty soon. So leave it with me. I'll get back to you. Right then. The butchering has finished. So we have an RF modulator, we have the cable, we have L8, which is this coil thing here which fits there, we have Q4, which is a transistor which fits right there. We have 2 resistors, one for R56 and one for R48, all needed removing and have been done. So all I need to do now is fit this. I might actually just stick it there, so where the old RF modulator were. Wire into where it's supposed to go and then outwards to the edge of here. That might be too much actually, that. To fit it in there. Maybe a small problem, might not be, but like I say, we can easily get rid of one of these connectors and just have a double sticking out. The double will be perfect, but I could easily work on that later once we get this in place and done and figure out exactly what goes where and how. It's only a simple, there's a diode, there's a couple of resistors, there's 3, 4 resistors maybe, and a diode. But it's the tiniest little piddly thing. It's ridiculous. Ridiculously brilliant. Yeah, I think I might stick mine there. And we'll see what happens. Soldering done. Let's get you in a little. We've got the mod there. I'm not doing exact Future Was 8-bit colours, but these are out for me. The white one here, the top one was the audio in. It comes all the way down to this resistor here, the bottom leg. We have the
The orange one, what they've put as the 5V DC in, comes to the edge of this coil here. Their yellow, which is my blue, which is the video in, which is there, needs to come to the top of this R56 resistor. It's gone through. And then my brown one here is just an earth straight to there, or ground. Now the opposite side on here, you've got your audio out, which is a mono audio out, which you can split off left and right, but it'll be exactly the same, so it doesn't fully matter so much. Ground for the audio, if you're going to do a separate cable to there. Video out, and ground for that video. But again, it doesn't matter so much, because what I'm going to be using when it comes round to this is everything on here uses the same ground, which is this outer casing. If you're going to do separate cables, fine, you probably use for your audio, video, fine. But what I'm doing with this is the center part of the white and the red on here, I am going to be soldering between here and here to try and make this as slim as possible. This pin here is just for the earth, so I can get rid of that. I can slim down this edge as well. So what I'm going to do is run a wire from when this is soldered onto the center of the red audio cable. There'll be a cable coming from this. There'll be one cable coming from this part here, which is your center pin for your video, and there'll be one cable coming from here, which I'm going to slim down a little bit. Maybe I'll cut one length to there and one to here. It'll go from the top, and that'll be for your ground for all three. Now there shouldn't be a problem with this because they're all using the same ground. So what I'll do is, same as what the future was 8-bit video, or the pictures what you see on here. If you look on there, that's not the red one. Oh, it's an online one. Damn it. Is both the grounds are used on the same one, on the bottom one, to keep it out of the way. So what I need to do now is try and mount this in the case. Now, you go up to the top of here. At present, I'm going to try and mount it like that, but I have got this section here in the way, so it's going to be a little tricky to do. I mean, coming down here, you can just see on the circle part here, there's a slight ring where the case, or these parts of the case, go straight into it. So it's not like it's the entire full width of that, so I can go over just a little tiny bit. So it's not too bad. But as long as I can get these as flush to the edge of the case as possible, then I should be fine. If it's there, then I should be fine. Because if you look at the original, that's there and on flush with the case. So as long as I'm as near as damn it there, the hole's wide enough to get the cable into, I'm bob on. So let me mod this and see where I go from there. Right, job done. Can you tell what I've done? Right, let's gather that in the middle. All the wires are on the mod, as usual. I haven't used the second earth there because I don't need to. It's all going to that block and it's perfectly fine. And there is the block. It's as difficult or as hard or as well, as good or as bad as you want to do this, to be honest. But I'm quite happy with that. There's a lot of hot glue in there, which is actually making a very solid connection there. But look on the back, you've got 3 lined up. I'm quite happy with that. You have to take away some of the plastic on here. So it does, yeah, it's impossible to get away from. You have to cut some of the chassis out. Not too well. If I wanted to properly, I'd put both out together, and I would have potentially drilled a couple of holes. And putting that on the back of there, and I don't think that looks too bad. I've cut a little bit of the top away as well. But I'm quite happy with that. I'm really happy with that. Well, there's nothing fits on an Atari, which is perfect. There's gaps around where the ports are. There's a, for no reason at all, hole there. I'm going to put something over and cover it, I think. But other than that, we're job done. It's now time for testing. I hope that fits. Actually, is that what my problem were in this corner? You know, I think it is. It's possibly a problem. No. The capacitor's fine. So that's almost dry as it is. A little bit of tape on there to stop any light blocking, but you can see through everything. You can see there's a gap on the top of on the joystick port where you can see straight up and into the back of this thing anyway, but I'm just kind of light blocking for no reason at all. Just maybe not well even correcting Atari's mistakes, but we're all ready. Caps are on, that's wired in. I am going to get this thing, well, tidy up a little bit, then I'm going to get this thing plugged in and see if she works. Because last time I plugged this in, I turned it on without the caps, so there's a possibility I've already blown this up and this could be a complete waste of time. But let's live and learn, shall we? Right, here is live testing. LED there will come on if it all works. We should hear something through the TV if it all works. Volume's on 10. So let's turn power supply on and switch on. This is working in colour. There's still that absolute crappy picture. I left the black and white colour switch off. Oh, I've just knocked something. Okay, we're back on again. So let's see if this... oh, yeah. I need reset buttons in. Damn it! Right, where would I be if I was a couple of reset buttons? I want to hear sound out the television. So, there's still something wrong with this, I'm sure there is. Oh, by the way, yes, it's working. It is very working. Oh. That's a wonderful trumping sound, isn't it? Definitely coming out on both sides. There's still a problem with the cartridge slot, I'm sure there is. It might just be the cartridges that are actually very filthy. So let's try another one. Let's try Jnr Revenge. Oh yeah, okay. This is one of these ones that have the... there you go. Oh, 4. It's like 2. So if I touch the cartridge slot again, it does... there's something not right with the cartridge slot. I need to get a new one of them. I really do. Because now it's getting a little bit awkward. Put the cartridge in, you have to leave it. See, the problem with Jnr Revenge, got one of these that you push down, but it did kind of work. But yeah, that's a 99% success. I think it is. It's got to be down a cartridge slot. Or, yeah, if I can ever find one of them again. If anybody's got a clue where I can find a cartridge slot connector, please, yeah, please tell me. I can go and get one. But other than that,
the stereo, well, double mono modification works, so that's working perfectly. Right? Nothing moves. It's solidly in. The recapping's working. The chips are nice. Everything's fine. Everything's happy. Works. So what I'll do is put this fully back together again, and then one day we'll come back to this and replace that. At the minute, it's fine. Everything's connected in. It must be just the joins onto the actual cartridge. I've cleaned it out as best I can with a lot of things. There was a bit of rust down there, so all I can think is it must be the rust. A little bit of rust down there, and it's just completely ballsing things up. So let's see if I can get it fixed in a future update. But at present, this is done. So give me 5 minutes, put this back together again. All these parts I've saved. Hang on, take that out, take that out. So you have to remove that, which is part of that. Them two, because you can get your video and your audio mod. That, God knows. That's so you get the power. That's, there, mine. So in an ever increasing spare parts bin, you have to remove all of these to recap and composite mod your Jnr 2600. And in my pot they go. Right, I'm going to fully reassemble this and you'll see it all done. There you have it. It's all back together again. Switches on. Comes up with Space Invaders. I've actually noticed as well, when it's actually got support on it, it doesn't do it as much. I can't do one-handed. Black and white switch was fine. It doesn't go off as much. So, well, I do not go off at all, it's still on. So, actually it's working a lot better than I thought. So, also, I can hear on that side, and I can hear that on that side. I don't know if that's coming across with the way that the microphones are set up on the camera, but yeah, working absolutely spot on. Thank you very much, Future Was 8-bit. Yeah, you know. Really, thank you very much, Future Was 8. Yeah, the Future Was 8-bit for the mod. Thank you, me, for finding the yeah, the capacitors. See, it doesn't look too bad. I'm quite proud of that. I say nothing fits perfectly on an Atari. And there's a lip there where the case doesn't properly fit. A lip over there as well. So the bottom case is slightly moulded bigger than the bottom. But hey ho, working. So another one out of the doldrums of it doesn't work, and protected with a new cap in for the next, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years or so. As long as I don't throw it against a brick wall and break it, we should all be fine. So, cheers for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed watching me get something back to as it should be, and with a bit of extra on it. If you want to consider being a patron of mine, a bit of donation, then there's links below. If you want to donate something physical, then please get in touch. If not, I'll talk to you on social media, or I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Little extra for the end. Yeah, I could have done something like this and just put cables straight out of the back like a flashback, but I think it looks a hell of a lot better just putting them in like that. I could even update this so the flashback's got 2 ports on the back, or 3. That would be exceptionally easy to do since it's already done, but it's a flashback. Do we need to bother? I don't think so. Double end note. Look, I forgot to put back in.